And we are back. The United States has a maternal mortality rate 3 times higher than any other high-income country. For Black and indigenous birthing people, death rates are up to 3 times higher than their white counterparts. A new investigative theater production is turning these devastating statistics into a call for awareness and action. Joining me now and telling us more is the co-directors of co-writers for Axes, Herbs, and Satchels, Open the Archives, Sandie Luna, and Melissa Moschitto. Am I correct?
Moschitto.
Got it correct. That's what I'm talking about. Good to have you both.
Thank you for having us. Much.
Yeah, and so thank you for taking the time. Really, tell us a little bit about this play because it really dives deep, and it's a deep dive into some real socioeconomic issues and then some.
Absolutely. What we are really thrilled to be touring around New York City right now is the culmination of over 2 years of work. The Anthropologists, we're a 17-year-old theater company that creates live theater using archival materials. So when we go into the rehearsal room, right away we're starting with pieces of text, photographs, cultural artifacts, and looking for the stories there. And we knew those statistics that you just shared, and that was really one of the driving motivations behind exploring this topic. And the play really looks at the past 100 years to show us how and why we are where we are, and that this has been a manufactured crisis that we're living through. And we do have the tools to solve this and to resolve these terrible statistics.
There's a marriage, if you will, of fact, and then also letting the public know we got some facts here, and there's a message that we want to be able to bring to that. Talk to us a little bit about that. I know we've got a program here.
We've been really intentional about the legacy that we're trying to convey on stage, and the reality is that there isn't enough time to actually do it justice in a way that is linear, because it wasn't linear to begin with. It's a really complicated and complex history. So what we've done is pull pieces. It's taken a lot of research, but pull back and look at one of the things we talk about are like the rings, the echoes that keep repeating themselves throughout times, right? We see the same behaviors show up in a different form. So we've taken that and created a story with an arc that has resonated really deeply with people. And we feel, some of the feedback that we've gotten is, I never knew this story, this history. This is my history, and I never heard of this. I didn't know midwives were still a thing. There's just so much that has come out of it. So what we have done is created a play that opens the bag of history, and folks can come in and sort of dig through it, and everybody will walk away with something different, because we've created enough space inside of the piece for people to come with whatever lived experience they have, and then let themselves insert themselves in the story and take something from the bag with them.
Yeah. Talking about midwives, a very, profound topic when we say not many people know the history of the midwife, right? And all the challenges that associate with it. Your hope when people see this work, what's your hope that people take away from it?
I think above all, we want people to witness the incredible depth of knowledge and tradition that still exists and persists in the midwifery community and tradition here in New York City and across the country, and that this kind of wisdom and knowledge and expertise is where we should be investing resources, so that people start to become aware on a civic level when they go to vote, or when they're connecting with their public officials. Like, this is where we want resources to go. Certainly, New York City is becoming more aware of and attentive to these statistics. Bronx Borough President Vanessa Gibson just recently released a report that actually says that Black women are 9.2 times as likely as their white counterparts in New York City today to suffer and die from pregnancy-related complications. And when we're talking about New York City, it seems unfathomable. Right. And so we want people to understand that we don't have to accept those statistics, that there are paths that we can take towards more equitable outcomes. And also, something that Sandie and I discovered over and over again with our creative team during the creative process is just how much joy and love there is in the midwife community and in birth and in bringing new life into this world. And that's something else that we wanted to make sure that we lifted up in this work, that it's not all about the devastating statistics, that there is real hope in this story.
And really uplifting different kinds of knowing and knowledge.
Right.
And we are conditioned into thinking there's one kind of knowledge, and midwives are living proof that one kind of knowledge is not enough.
Right.
It doesn't suffice when it comes to taking care of each other. And what midwives do is they bring a standard of care that's comprehensive, that takes the human into account. And we've sort of don't give that as much value, and we value the things that come from a book written by a certain kind of person. And so there's also been a lot of uplifting that kind of knowing, and I think the audience leaves also feeling better about themselves, right? Like, I may not hold the titles, but there are legacies, traditions that run in my family that are valuable, right? That have allowed me to be who I am.
When you talk about the audience itself, we talked about what you want people to take away. What's it like for you bringing this, the story to people in New York City who are, very much on the cusp of dealing with a lot of these issues front and center?
I mean, for me, it's super personal. So we've known each other for a really long time. And about 2 years ago, when I got an email about being part of this laboratory that I was starting doing the research, I got a little nervous at first because I was almost one of those statistics, and I'm going to try not to cry. The system during, I have 2 children, and during my first pregnancy, I was let down by the system in many, many ways. I went to a birthing center. The birthing center was being defunded, so I was treated really poorly. There was no continuity of care, even though it was midwives who were doing the caring. I was transferred to a hospital where I was subjected to obstetric violence. I was denigrated while I was in 30 hours of labor. Like, my contractions were coming less than a minute apart, and I had a doctor in my face saying horrible, horrendous things to me to force me into a C-section, things that I wouldn't repeat. I'm still haunted by the people that I saw, the women that I saw around me who couldn't advocate for themselves the way that I could. I had people around me. That's still something that I carry with me, and it's very painful to know. So for me, this is very personal, because I know what it's like, and that led me, I was left in a very deep depression. Coming out of that, the whole process was just really, really difficult, even after I gave birth via C-section. Nothing wrong with it if you need it, but to be forced into it and to be treated like an animal, it was really horrendous. Then I wasn't being allowed to breastfeed in a New York City hospital. And so after that, that's what led me to start to look into, wait, why did this happen to me?
Right.
And that's when I started to understand how deep it went. I was like, this is not about me. And that led me to train as a doula with a focus on reproductive justice. So I think that, what the audience takes, it's empowerment. Because if I had seen something like this, maybe I would have been better prepared. I didn't know that that I was at risk of going through that kind of experience. And since becoming a doula and going to hearings and doing advocacy work, a doula with a focus on reproductive justice, I see how often it happens.
Melissa, for people who want to see this, how do they go about it?
Well, we hope that they will visit our website, theanthropologist.org. We have 4 more performances coming up. We are going to be bringing the show to Washington Heights in Upper Manhattan this Thursday. And then we're really, really thrilled to be concluding this run of the show here in the Bronx at the brand new Tiffany Street Theater, which is located at Inspiration Point in Hunts Point.
Hunts Point, yeah.
Okay.
And so we will be there Friday, May 9th through Saturday, May 11th, concluding on Mother's Day. And we really want to make it possible for anyone who feels called to this show to come see it. So we have a wide range of ticket prices. And also on Mother's Day, we're really pleased, thanks to our partnership with ID Studio Theater that Sandie is the executive director of, and Inspiration Point, that we are going to be providing free childcare for audience members. So they can sign up for that and be able to come join us at the theater.
Gotta ask this question before we go out of here. The amount of time doing the research and putting this together, how much time?
Well, the hours are countless. But this process really spanned from our initial workshop in July of 2022 all the way until
And we
now.
haven't finished. As
Right.
we
It's
continue
always
to work,
evolving.
we continue to find new pieces of information. And I want to point out that it's not just the research that's in the actual going to the script, but the research that led to how we did the work. We were really intentional to not have it be business as usual, but to actually have the process of creating the piece really honor the topic that we were researching. So creating frameworks that really respected the voices in the room and borrowing from anthropologists, some of the tenets of activist anthropology, and just being really, really intentional and clear and respectful of what we were doing and who was in the room and what voices were being uplifted.
Sandie, Melissa, thank you so much. I hope people get out to see it. We're definitely going to get them out there and do our job to tell them where they can find more information. And thank you for the great work and your personal testimony. It means a lot. Thanks a lot.
Thank you for
Thank
having
you
us.
so much.
Well, listen, now, if you want more information, yes, go ahead and visit the website at theanthropologist.org. Encourage you, don't go anywhere. We got more open coming up right after this.